What's up, guys? Today I'm sharing a behind-the-scenes look at our lifestyle here in Medellin, Colombia. Demir and I are both originally from the US, but we've been expats for about 7 years, and we've set up our home base in Medellin for the past 5 years or so. And we get asked all the time, why Medellin? And I know there's a lot of curiosity there, so I'm excited to do this video to share more about why we're here and what it's like to live in Colombia. One of the primary reasons we became expats was to improve our quality of life by using a technique called Geoarbitrage. This is where you generate income in a stronger currency, in our case the US dollar, and spend it in a comparatively weaker currency, in this case the Colombian peso. Now, I don't think people will really understand what this means. That means that as soon as you step into Colombia, your net wealth effectively gets multiplied by a large factor. This has the effect of giving us an instant raise. And since we work online, we honestly could not wait to get out of our high-cost city in the US and move somewhere exciting and new where we could leverage geo-arbitrage. Of course, it's not just about the cost of living or saving money. We've truly fallen in love with the people of Colombia, their generosity and their kindness. I truly think it's unparalleled in the world, and we feel so fortunate that they're willing to share it with expats like us. We did live in 17 other countries before landing in Colombia, and for that reason, we know that Medellin checks a lot of boxes for us. It has nearly perfect weather year-round. We have the opportunity to learn Spanish as adults, and our daughter Gigi is going to be effortlessly bilingual, which she wouldn't have been back home. Medellin's also a short 3.5-hour direct flight from Miami, and it's on Eastern time for part of the year and Central for the other part, which is huge for us since most of our clients are in the US. It's also an incredibly modern city with all the amenities that we're accustomed to, like really great public transportation, fast Wi-Fi, air conditioning, international restaurants, and a great expat and entrepreneurial scene. So let's get into the real cost of living here in Medellin. In general, everything feels about a third or even a fourth as expensive as it did back home in Los Angeles. But the truth is that some categories are even more affordable and some are even more expensive. Let's start with rent. We used to pay $3,600 for an unfurnished 3-bedroom in a third-tier neighborhood of Los Angeles. When we first moved to Medellin, we paid $1,200 for a fully furnished 3-bedroom in the primo part of Medellin with a view of the city. So that's a third of what we used to pay for a way better place. If we really were comparing apples to apples, you'd be looking at a 4-fold difference in affordability. Next, healthcare. In the US, as entrepreneurs, we used to pay about $700 a month for healthcare for the two of us with a $4,000 deductible. No wonder we never went to the doctor and we couldn't seem to save anything. Today, we pay about $250 a month for us and our daughter, and that's a $0 deductible. It's global healthcare coverage too, which means if we're traveling and we get sick or have an accident when we travel to other countries, we'll still be covered. So again, it's a factor of 4, but it's hard to sort of make an apples to apples comparison. Here's a real life healthcare example. When I gave birth, I had to have an emergency C-section, and the cost for us was literally $11 US for some food to be delivered to my room. And everything else was 100% covered, no paperwork or anything. So in truth, healthcare is more like a factor of 10 in affordability when it's all said and done. Services in general are much more affordable here than in the USA. So for example, we have an amazing nanny who we pay about $600 a month to come full time. And she even cleans when Gigi is napping or Gigi's at school. In the US, what we've heard is that that could easily be between $4,000 and $5,000. So that service is also more affordable by a factor of 10. We also pay for a dog walker to walk our dog 5 days a week for 4 hours each day. That comes to about $100 a month. Now, some people are shocked by the low cost for service in other countries, and they worry that they're somehow taking advantage of these employees. And there's no doubt that inequality is a huge problem in Latin America. But remember, as long as you're paying your employees a generous wage in their market, you're benefiting them and the local economy in the best way possible by creating a great paying, stable job for someone who needs it. They do have extremely robust worker protections here in Colombia that make sure people are treated fairly. Certainly not a perfect system, but they really try hard to make sure that workers' rights are protected. Okay, another major category is schooling. For school, we send Gigi to daycare 5 days a week for about $375 a month. This is the best daycare we could find that was still close to our apartment. And back at home in the US, this would have been about $2,500. So that's a factor of 7 times more affordable. What about food? We do a lot of cooking at home because that's something I enjoy, but on the nights that we do go out to dinner, for 4 people, it's typically about $75 US. This is for a fancy meal. For an equivalent meal in LA, that would be at least $300. You might ask, well, is there anything that's more expensive in Colombia than in the US? Good question, and yes, there are things that are more expensive. Technology items like computers and phones are more expensive here because you're paying a very high tax on those items, about 30% in most cases. So Demir and I try to get those higher ticket items in the US when we're there, just to avoid paying more for them. Also, since Amazon has very limited shipping options here, we pay for an affordable service that ships some items to us from Florida to Medellin. So Amazon items for us are overall more expensive to get them here than they would be at home. All in all, our monthly expenses here in Colombia are a small fraction of what they would be in the US. So I hope that was a helpful behind the scenes look at what it's like to be here in Colombia as a US expat. Let me know in the comments if you have additional questions about the cost of living here. I would love to hear from you. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're obsessed with human potential and living your best life like we are, consider subscribing to our channel. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video.